Hello ladies and gentlemen, I am PANCZASU and welcome back to my Unfallen tutorial slash playthrough. You may have noticed that something's changed. Indeed, I have just downloaded a patch for this game, which is probably exactly what you're gonna play when this game comes out. In fact, in your timeline, this game probably has already came out, now that I think about it. So you may be more familiar with everything now. Still, most of the changes were just cosmetic or bug fixes, so as I said at the start of the series, all of the mechanics stay the same, so this playthrough remains relevant, and that was the most important thing for me. Anyway, last time we tried really hard to actually get to 1050 and declare war on the Lumeris. It hasn't been able to happen. I'm not sure if I'm using the right grammar here, in fact I'm kind of certain I'm not, but our fleet is growing nicely. I have spot for 2 more ships, however, and since I need to wait until I can get anywhere, I might as well design our needles, because they have not been touched ever since, well, the start of this game, and I'm not... wait a second, I did retrofit them. Oh yeah, I can actually upgrade them. I didn't even notice when I looked at the screen. I was completely blindsided. Yep, I can indeed upgrade them. So I'll do just that, just to have a little bit more punch in my fleet. And in fact, just to confuse the AI and make my fleet versatile, since all of my ships are using kinetic, I mean, not kinetics, but missiles or kinetics, which amasses for projectile weapons, why not make needles not a projectile? Just to, again, throw the enemy for a loop. I don't think it's a very bad idea, especially since I'm trying to stay at far range from the enemy, so let's do something of the sort. Of course, those guys will have way smaller damage, but nevertheless, they might have surprised the enemy. I just looked at the amount of damage they would deal. That's really crappy, and you know what? I don't care about surprising the enemy anymore. Just deal as much damage as humanly possible, with maybe a bit of kinetics on the side. Just in case we get into a close range or something along the lines. Yeah, I like to have missile weapons on the top of the ship for this very simple reason that when they are on the top of the ship, they can fire pretty much any lane from almost everywhere. Because the weapons on the sides, they have a very limited arc of firing. They can only fire, well, to the sides, obviously. Whereas those weapons don't really care about that. So even if you're in a configuration where your side weapons wouldn't be able to fire, the top weapons will be able to. And kinetics will provide you with anti-missile efficiency even if they normally wouldn't be able to fire the enemy, which is rather useful. So yeah, I'll just go for all kinetic approach. I didn't want to, I wanted to be original, but I don't actually have any decent, whatchamacallit, non-material? No, how are they called? Non-projectile weapons. I keep forgetting the word projectile for some reason. It's mildly annoying. Mildly annoying indeed. Anyway, I don't think I'm gonna waste Hyperion on those guys. I do need to say, then again, why not? I'm just gonna make 2 of them, so let's give them the best possible evasion I can, and follow it up with some even more damage for the... that's the wrong thing. For some even more damage on their weapons, so that would be nice. And why not give them some extra armor? I'll tell you why not. Because those guys will not be targeted by the... actually, the enemy is using coordinator ships, but coordinator ships should target hunters first and attackers second, if I remember correctly. Actually, they will just switch between them willy-nilly, if I remember things correctly. So maybe I should give those guys a little bit more of a chance to survive the enemy attacks. And you know what? Why not? I have a lot of resources anyway, more than I would be able to use, so let's just give them a ton of titanium stuff and make them more defensive. Again, those ships are not supposed to be defensive, they are offensive ships. But we are the Unfallen, and we are, by our very nature, defensive on all ships we have. In fact, some of our attacker ships, like Fire Ship, is more defensive than some of our defense ships, like Light Ships, which is kind of amusing. Also, let's go ahead and make our exotic Russians. They're gonna help us with our ground troops strength, but then again, it's not really all that necessary. Also, did I go for 5% air? Did I really? I don't remember doing that. I guess I must have. Well, that's rather strange. I really don't think I did, but if we are to go for air, why not have a decent amount of it? Sure, the enemy infantry will get a bonus on attack against air, and the enemy is almost guaranteed to use only infantry, but then again, air troops in their own right are very, very powerful. Then again, they do not have as much health as the tanks do, so they will be taken down faster. And you know what? Just because the air forces can be taken down faster and the enemy... hold on a second. and the enemy will be filled with infantry. I'll just keep tanks because of how much health they have. Sure, they don't deal as much damage, but I don't want to have to replenish my troops. I would love to increase their damage against infantry as well, but that's not something I can do right now. I don't have enough antimatter, sadly. Anyway, let's confirm the changes, make sure that I don't have any air units. I only want to have tanks, that's gonna be good enough. This system has everything that it needs to do. I think nothing else requires our order, so never mind, skin does. And I should have used the time I had off camera to memorize the names of those planets, but I didn't because I'm a big fat dummy. I'm not actually fat. I'm not very skinny either, but I don't believe I'm obese. Anyway, in fact, I mean, I don't have to believe, scientifically I'm not. If you can call that science, I mean, you know, BMI, BMR ratings, how they call it? I don't remember. Why are we talking about how fat or I am or am not? I'm not, I think. Right, still. Let's stop talking about that. Anyway, hero skills. You are... Yeah, I only have the governors, don't I? And one adventurer, so I guess I don't have only governors. But either way, this guy wants to give me some extra influence. Thank you very much. Now, how the election's gonna go? It looks like pacifists are still firmly in the lead, which is good. I don't want the militarists to win yet. Of course, by letting militarists win, I could talk about the benefits of letting the militarists win, because the militarists have a very powerful law, which I should be able to show you by going for militarist laws. There we go, spoils of act war. Extraordinarily powerful, lets you really climb on the top of the food chain, especially if you are falling behind in those science. This is something that, for example, I'd recommend to all the cravers out there, because you're gonna need to get as much benefit from war as quickly as possible at all times to support your otherwise potentially crippled economy. Thing is, though, okay, sure, that would be useful, and if we get militarists in the Senate, I'll probably enact this, but what I care the most is still the right thing rule, because this is still, in my eyes, the most powerful law we can have on right now. It's ridiculously good, and we're gonna try to make sure that we stick with it. So, with all of that said, there was some shenanigans going on the marketplace, but we're not actually using marketplace, which might be annoying to some of you guys, but oh well, that's still the thing. Either way, we can go ahead and install lost cities and NP artifacts on our assistance. The problem is we have maximum approval anyway at all times, so this is not something we'll ever have to work on. I'll probably, when it comes to designing this third level modernization, go for Jadonics and potentially go for something like super spots, because it looks like I do have access to those. Yeah, I do actually have a pretty good amount. I could even install them right now, but I don't have any train networks unlocked, and it doesn't look like I ever will, because I didn't go for this kind of technology at all. I can still do that, mind you, and if you want to keep pacifists in power, as well as get a decent amount of luxury resources, then the trade networks are actually a pretty good bet, a pretty safe bet for you. The only problem with that is that if you are hoping to get science or dust for them, because they do also give you science, you can basically customize them to your liking if you want them to focus on science or luxuries. Science-wise, they don't give you a lot. And dust-wise, considering that pacifists usually have a lot of money, this is also not necessarily the way to go. Honestly, trade companies are right now best for luxuries. They weren't always like that. In the older days of... oh wow. In the older days of Endless Space 2, they were really the thing that would allow you to get your economy up and going in a very stylish fashion, if I may say so myself. The problem is that's no longer the case. It feels like compared to the amount of resources you can get otherwise without the need of trade networks, and considering how good the research tree is where the trade networks are, I personally just rarely go for the trade networks, so yeah, there's that. Anyway, let's queue up the construction on everything, make sure the needles are attached to my fleet. You can go ahead and make a national museum. I can also make Harmony of the Heart. Would that be in any way meaningful or necessary? Nope, it would only cost us dust. No reason to make this place cost us dust, it's completely worthless. Let's just... I mean, I could make some more ships. This place, regardless, is going to get a bonus to Militarist Party for making ships, but it looks like Militarists are not going to win anyway, so I might as well prepare the next stage of assault. And that's not necessarily gonna be a bad idea. So again, 4 fire ships, let's see, what do you have? 4 fire ships, 2 light ships, and also 2 needles, which sounds like a pretty decent bet. I'm gonna queue up 2 light ships. The problem is, we might unlock... In fact, we already have unlocked access to the technology that gives us access to the carriers. And let me recheck. I'm gonna get extra 2 command points, and... yeah, that would not quite be enough for carriers, so I'm gonna resign from 1 fire ship for the time being, and In fact, for the time being, I'm just gonna queue up 3 of those because it's still gonna take a 10 each to make those guys. And now, I could start working on carriers right away, and I know you guys would want me to do that. It's not necessarily ideal. In fact, I would say it's a better bet to go for perfect negotiations ASAP, because it gives you access to growth on mediation, which allows you to sign alliances. Additionally, it also gives you better effects, like altogether for being friendly with people. So, ridiculously good for pacifists. But I know you want to see carriers. And I can't deny you that pleasure, so I'm gonna go ahead and research carriers. They're not gonna be very useful, mind you. As I said, Unfallen carriers are, in my opinion, some of the weaker ones. They're pretty much indestructible. That's the good thing about them. But when it comes to dealing damage, which is the main purpose of carriers, honestly, then the Unfallen carriers don't do that, which is sad, really. Anyway, you just say you go ahead and make a national museum while also creating a specialization, because you might as well, you haven't done so in the past. Skin, again, needs orders, you always do, you're so needy, it's ridiculous. Go ahead and go for geoindustrial plants, go ahead and go for interplanetary transport network, see if I care, bastard. Then go for public-private partnerships. That's actually a mouthful now that I think about it, public-private partnerships. Wow, ridiculously tough to say. Actually, not really, but I'm gonna claim that it is regardless. And I'm gonna prepare by sending my fleet somewhere right next to Spica. And I think it might be even closer to Spica if I send my fleet to Taste, because of how quickly my hero can travel off lane. So let's go ahead and go right over there. As you can see, he doesn't even care. Actually, there isn't a connection between Taste and Flesh. It just looks like there is because of my roots, but there isn't one. So yeah, that's that. Anyway, now that I think about it, I probably shouldn't make my fleet in Bite, because it would be fairly slow to move it out of Bite without the use of my hero. But then again, I don't think I will really need a big fleet to fight the enemy. What are they using? They're still using the same things. By that I mean bzz, lasers, unless they're called beams. I always forget what's beam and what's a laser. I keep reminding myself before and after almost every video. I keep checking, alright, those things are beams, those things are lasers, but I still forget them, so I still call them bzz or pew pew. Because, you know, bzz and pew pew is easier to memorize, I believe. At least for me. It's because, you know, it's how it sounds. Alright, I'll just shut up now. Okay, what else do you need as a governor? Honestly, nothing whatsoever, so I'm just gonna give you more food, because, I mean, what else can I give you? Not much, really. Let's apply the changes. I said apply the changes. Thank you, there we go. They have been applied. A quest. Preserve the Academy 10 turns, clear the galaxy of the 10 Vodian rebel fleets. Hehe. If you want to read that, go ahead and read that. This is a really cool artwork, by the way. I really love this. It looks so cool and menacing. And the Vodian, they're just... I love the design. I love it ever since Last Space 2 came out in its very first iteration. I was like, Vodiani have some really cool ships. They give me a real 90s vibe, by the way. And I am a 90s kid, in case you're wondering. So, yeah. Because, you know, back then, sci-fi games, they kind of had a similar idea with the shapes, like the curves and triangles everywhere, because obviously every 3D days, that's what was hot those days. And I just like it so much as a result, and what can I say? I really, really do. Anyway, Byte is creating more fire ships. I wanted to say that Byte is making more bytes, which I guess would make sense, maybe not at all actually. And Taurus, you are... oh wow, I forgot to praise those guys. Alright, well then let's praise them. And let's praise them again, because I have infinite amounts of influence and I want to take them over next time. Keep in mind, of course, now this is something I forgot to mention earlier, but you don't need to assimilate a faction to start getting bonuses from it. As you can see, those guys already give me tribute just for the fact that... oh, I forgot to turn off my air conditioner. Sorry for the background noise, my bad. Anyway, those guys already give you some special stuff, but still, it's better to have a system like completely for yourself than let it give you stuff. Although, that being said, it would take a while for the system to give me more than it is giving me now. So if you needed resources, like especially science and dust, right now, right at this moment, then don't assimilate those guys, because you're gonna lose some, because once you get the system, usually you'll find out that it's pretty crappy when it comes to how well developed it is. It might be a very good system to have later on. I mean, look at those planets, they are not actually that great. But either way, still, that could be very useful to have this. It could be very useful to have this system in the future. Also, it's a very good trade network HQ spot because it's at the very end of the constellation, so it would allow for you to create some really long routes. Anyway, for the last time I'm going to support the pacifists, and after that I'm gonna go full-on militarist route. I think that's... you all knew that I would do something along those lines. Let's have a quick check on how my people will vote. There's a lot of religious people somewhere, in actually a lot of places. I wonder what do they do, because religious are very tough to get... it's very difficult for the religious party to get support for itself, so I wonder how did it manage to do that. Anyway, oh wow, this is actually perfect. I have the best set of people in the Senate right now, because this guy, obviously, he will increase my strategic resource gathering, as well as general resource gathering, because he's in the Senate, because of the abilities he's got. This guy is about to gain the same abilities, so again he'll boost it even further. And also, when it comes to the set of laws that I can get from those parties, they are exactly what I needed. Because they will increase my speed even further, just in case I needed to. I don't think I'll enact it right away, but if I wanted to, I could. And I can also go for the Spoils of War Act. Now, Promoter of Diversity failed. Well, tough, I don't really care. And another cooperative quest started. I need to produce a lot of science. I might actually do relatively okay on that one. Obviously, Sophos are probably going to win, but still, I think I will do okay. Now, let's have a quick look at my political parties and the laws I have available. So, Toys for Boys, I'm probably gonna get rid of. I'm gonna get rid of it for the time being and see how it affected my systems. There's still Ecstatic with a few happy outcasts, but those happy outcasts can still make infinite supermarkets, so it's absolutely fine. Now, having a look at my other laws that I have access to, I'm definitely gonna go for Spoils of War Act because of the incredible benefits it provides me. I'm still producing an nearly infinite amount of influence, so I can go for whatever else I want. Now, let's think about it. Star Boogie Bill is something I really like, and I stated that I like it very much many times in the past, so that is something that I'll certainly consider. Crime Exam is also amazing, mind you, but that's something else. I need to prepare for war. Low fleet cost is probably not necessary. I think my single fleet will be enough to crush the Lumeris. It doesn't look like they have very powerful ships, so I will go for Star Boogie Bill just to be able to move faster, just in case something unexpected happens. And besides, saving time is something I do enjoy doing. And the Brains Overbacks I will keep in as it is for the time being, because I don't care about the amount of dust I have, but I do care about the amount of science I'm producing, and I'm still on the positive dust, so it's a pretty good trade-off. Also, look at this, like I said, our senator is actually benefiting our entire government. I wish I could always have sent this as the third spot in the government. Unfortunately, like I said, the democracy is really tough to control, especially when it comes to the non-winners of the democracy pool, of the general pool. By which I mean especially when it comes to non-militarists and non-pacifists. Anyway, Lumeris! Finally, the time of redemption has come. I will take Spica because it was rightfully mine, because I said it was, because I felt like it. Yeah, I wonder if you managed to do that. Unfortunately, I'm not quite able to write a demand for them first, which I would love to. So I'm just gonna go ahead and declare a Cold War.
A worrying message from a suspicious source.
I am not a suspicious source. I'm very honest when I say that I want to marry.
Channels, not social media.
Yeah, well, you should have been more respectful towards me, because now we're at war. And as you can see, yeah, we have the music that just notified us of the fact that things are getting serious because we have the drums and whatnot. Yeah, so we're at war. Now, this is kind of annoying because minus 20% fleet health. Sure, as the Unfallen, I can regain this health very quickly. But I don't care about my movement points right now, so I'm just gonna go for less movement points because I want to start gaining back Spica as I intended to do in the first place. In fact, can I take it over right away? Probably. I mean, it is not a low blow, you should have seen this coming. Anyway, I could invade their planet, but I don't think I would necessarily succeed right away. How good is my siege? It's okay, it's not great, but I do want to preserve my tanks because it is a pain to refuel your ground troops on your armada once you're deep into the enemy territory. And I'm not in a rush, necessarily. I can just take my sweet time and do whatever I want, so that's gonna be fine. Flesh has this hero. Now, can I assign the other hero to Flash is the question, or is he still... No, I remember from the last time I recorded a video that he is still unable to be reassigned, I think. So, oh well, the other hero will gain extra levels, that's okay. Not really a very big deal right now. So, you just say, you are just content. I would like you to not be content, I would like you to be very happy. And also give me exotic rations so I can have more troops with which I can murder my foes, because murder is fun! Don't take my advice in real life though. Please, I'd rather not be murdered by you. So, yeah, just saying. Anyway, you just say you're ecstatic and happy, just like you're supposed to be when you go to war to murder a bunch of innocent civilians. Yes, we're back at this topic again. And a bunch of other places now need infinite supermarkets. Good thing I have access to this technology, isn't it? Because otherwise it could be relatively annoying, but now it actually isn't. Now the problem is, me making exotic rations everywhere, on one hand it is going to help me with my manpower, because you need your manpower in order to successfully attack an enemy. The problem is, it does increase the support for the militarist faction, but I feel like the support for the militarist faction is gonna be heavily increased regardless of what I do. So it's gonna be more or less okay-ish. But this system doesn't need them right now. What it needs is AI labor and optical research labs. Whoa! What do we have at the whoa? You're gonna get microwaves, because microwaves are cool. Actually, they're kind of hot now that I think about it, but you're gonna get them anyway. And Taurus! I cannot assimilate you. Why can I not, actually? Why can I not assimilate you? That's strange. I don't actually get that. Normally I was able to assimilate people after gaining a quest from them, so I'm not sure why that is. Is that because I'm at war with somebody? And no, that still doesn't make any sense. I don't know. I'll think about it later. For the time being, I suppose it doesn't really matter all that much, question mark? Because I'm gonna be busy killing. And in fact, I might do the quest because I'll conquer Spica and gain a bunch of Lomeris population in my empire. So that's another way to complete the faction quest. I mean, minor faction quest. You know what I'm talking about. So let's go ahead and do just that. Now, in the meantime, I'm going to drink some tea because it's been waiting for me for a while. It's gonna cold, but it's at least not as watery as it was last time, I believe. Or I don't remember in which video I drank the watery tea. It was disgusting though. Not really disgusting, but it didn't make me very happy. Let's just leave it at that. Let's go for more manpower, space capacity on Empire. It's always useful to have. Allows you to prepare for more troops. Yeah, whatever. The lady was upset for reasons. I don't know what reasons, honestly. She should love me. And, ooh, yeah, actually... Oh no, for a second I thought it's something else. Anyway, let's go ahead and grab some more resource generation. We finished the quest. Trade Clearing Bureau. Yep, I bet that the Lomeris are also not very happy about that. It certainly doesn't feel like they would be very happy about that. Now, as for my home system, I can go for Sacred Harvest, which again is not something I'm gonna do. I'm just a little bit surprised because they did change the artwork, as you have noticed from what it was before. Because, as I said, now I'm playing a version that you will probably be playing. So anyway, let's go for geo-industrial plants anywhere I can. I'm not gonna go... Actually, it does increase the luxury resource generation as well, but I don't care about extra luxuries of either of those luxuries, so I'm not gonna do that. Although Jade Onyx, if I am to rely on it for the second tier of modernization, now that I think about it, I might as well go ahead and use Jade Onyx. So, alright, I'll consider that. I'll do that, in fact. And after this, I don't need to go for anything else. I will go for exotic rations though, because this place is producing a ridiculous amount of food, so gaining extra manpower from this place would be nice. Heart! Tell me what's in your heart. Not much, as it looks like. Second such centers are already active, so that's good. There's nothing else for you to do, just give me some extra science, baby, and that will be fine. Can I assimilate you yet? No. That's sad. Oh yeah, I think it's actually still the same 10, isn't it? No, it's not. It's the next, maybe. I don't know what 10 it is. I'm losing track, I'm losing control! I'm not, don't worry. Alright, so this is our carrier. It's pretty big. Now, as you know... as you can see, its primary target is other carrier ships, which creates an interesting dynamic, but its secondary target is attacking hunter ships. This means that it's usually used for two reasons. One, to destroy the enemy's main source of damage, that being hunter and attacker ships. But second reason, to protect your own hunter and attacker ships from being destroyed by the enemy carriers. When it comes to the Unfallen, our carrier is doing the second option mostly, not the first option, because it's going to prevent our hunter and attacker carriers by being attacked by the enemy carriers. I think I said the word carriers too many times, but regardless, he's not gonna do that because the enemy is not gonna have any carriers, so he's just gonna deal damage. And again, he's not gonna deal as much damage as to justify the making of such carrier, but it looks cool, it's big, and I want to have it, so I'm gonna use it. That's all the reason I need it. So, I'm gonna use improved auto dance slugs for my big weapon. The reason for that being is that, well, if a very big missile misses the enemy, then that's kind of bad. That's a ton of damage that you are not dealing when this missile misses the enemy. But this kinetic, again, once it misses the enemy once, that's pretty bad. But it fires much more frequently than a missile would. So I do like to use fast-firing weapons for your big guns. It just tickles my fancy. Let's use missiles as our secondary top weapon. And use more missiles as our side weapons. Just have a lot of missiles except for this one kinetic weapon. It doesn't make much sense logically. Logically, if this was real life, I would probably install kinetics on the side of the ship to shut down enemy flak. But this guy has a lot of health, you know, a lot of health. And with our regeneration, which I stated many times and I will state again many times, he really does not care about what shoots him and what doesn't. Anyway, let's give him some extra evasion as well, because hey, why not? And the last thing we want to give him is actually a good thing to consider. We could give him a module which makes him more likely to be targeted, because this guy can take the damage, whereas our other ships might be a little bit worse in that regard. But if we do that, you'll find out that his defense modules are exactly as numerous as they are for our fire ships. In theory, in practice, those modules are actually multiplied, so he is more survivable and he does have more health. So I'm okay with giving him antimatter lancer. But at the same time, I could also give him something more interesting. Like, for example, allowing him to deal even more damage, which is his primary target in the first place. And that's how much more damage is that actually, really? That's a really large amount of extra damage I would be able to deal. So I'm definitely gonna improve his kinetic damage. So that's what I'm gonna do. And then for the last thing, I can either... Right now, projectile and energy defenses are almost the same. I am going to give him the projectile plating just because he's the Unfallen ship again, and installing this kind of plating gives him a bigger health bonus, which again our hero will repair. So that's why I care about projectile defense more than I care about energy defense, even though our enemies are using bzzz weapons. Yes, I haven't checked what they are again, I'm sorry. Okay, the enemy is steadily losing troops. I'll let them lose troops for like one more turn before I actually invade. Meanwhile, Bite, please go ahead and make our carrier. This will be very nice. And we're gonna finish our turn with that, I believe, unless there's some... Of course there's something that we need to do. Research. Let's go ahead and grab the Alliance research, as we were meant to do, because it's a rather important one to have. And now we can end our turn. And I'll drink some tea. Alright, now with what we have left on Bite, we could make another carrier, and we would be able to then make a light ship, if I'm not mistaken. Am I not? I hope I'm not. Also, I think my voice sounded a little bit quieter for a second there, because I moved away from the microphone by accident. Anyway, the Lomeris! Oh, hi there, Lomeris! Are you gonna try to attack? And that's just one frigate. Do you want to see a frigate blow up? I mean, we have not seen a battle yet in this entire series. It's about time we see a frigate blow up. I'm down for it. Also, that reminds me, I still haven't done anything with my basic cards that I started the game with, which is rather pathetic. Anyway, the enemy thingy is using a frigate with, again, still the bzzz weapons. What are they called again? I still haven't checked. Oh well. So let's go for part of the shields. It also has a very nice deployment. When it comes to our deployment, I might as well set it up right now, because the game will remember my preferred deployment settings. So, since I prefer to stay at a far range, far away from the enemy, and since, let's see, which ship of mine is the best for close range? I mean, I'm gonna use my hero ship over there, at the flank where it's medium range. The reason being that my hero is going to soak the damage, because this flank is going to be attacked a lot by the enemy ships. I know that for a fact. Next, I'm gonna have my hunter ship in there as well, although the game does sometimes like to be a little bit annoying in regards to how it lets you or doesn't let you move anything. So just give me a moment, I'm gonna get there. Alright, hero moved, and then the hunter moved there. That's nice, that's a little bit better. Now, in the center, I want to have the most firepower I can have, so that's gonna mean that I have the other fireships in there, but I do want to have something at the flank, and this light ship, he's also gonna stay at the flank, so I'm gonna send the needle again to the center. The center is my most important thing, and I believe that having a strong center is very important in general, because the center flank can usually fire at the other flanks as well. Not always at the bottom flank, sometimes it cannot fire at this one, but it almost always can fire the top flank, which is why I like to make the center flank so powerful. The bottom flank, in my case, it's gonna be the one that is going to stay safe for the most time, not attacked by the enemy, which is why I have some damage dealing over here, as well as the ship that benefits the entire fleet, just to make sure I still have at least one over there. And with that said, I could also put in a coordinator over at the top flank. It's not the most damaging ship anyway, and it's gonna be able to soak up a decent amount of damage, and also, most importantly, it's going to make the top flank more survivable, because it will be attacked by the enemy multiple times. So, center is my damaging flank, top is my tanking flank, and bottom is my support flank for the most part. And with that, we're gonna watch the enemy escape, because they're probably gonna... They did not retreat? Why not? I mean, oh wow, that's a lot of critical damage that the enemy can have, but I mean, it's a very interesting build that the AI is doing with their lasers and whatnot. But anyway, let's watch this deployment, just because again we have not been able to watch anything of the sort in the past, and you know, it's just nice watching our ships deploy and prepare for combat. By the way, you may be wondering, Pan, why do you not have the hero skin or whatever for your heroes? Why do you not have all the benefits from the Digital Deluxe Edition and Founder Edition? Aren't you the VIP? Or you may be asking, don't you love this game? Why haven't you gotten that yet? Oh, come on, camera director, that was an awesome shot of the ship being destroyed, and we didn't get that. Anyway, the answer to your question, dear says, is very simple. The version I'm recording this on, is not the official version, it's the internal build version that I have access to as a VIP member, which I'm pretty sure means that the bonuses I have don't carry over to it, and even if they do, which I think they might, because the last time I checked, I think they did, they only started being moved over in this, after this update rolled out, and not before, because before I could not enable things. So either way, right now as it is, you're not gonna see the Digital Deluxe Edition bonuses, but don't worry, in my future playthroughs I will show them, because I do have them. Just in case you were wondering. You probably actually weren't, but I wanted to, you know, make sure that everything is clarified for you regardless. Alright, this place is just content, even though you have increasing happiness? I mean, you are irradiated ash planet with shattered crust. I mean, I can understand why you're just content. I'm not very happy about this, but I can give you Harmony of the Heart, which I never thought I would actually need, and this will be good enough. Also, you have a ton of industry production, so I will give you big data shipyards, why not? It's not gonna be a worthless thing to have. Perfect negotiations, almost done, which will make me very happy. And also, after the perfect negotiations are done and I start signing alliances, guess what? My allies, should they choose to accept my invite, will join my wars, which is going to be not very helpful actually. I'm gonna win them by myself just fine, but still it's gonna be nice. And in fact, for the very simple reason that I don't want the Vodiani to grab the Lumeria's space, I want it for myself, I'm going to first sign an alliance with the Riftborn. And alright, yeah, you are not hypocrites, don't worry, those poor guys, they're so very self-conscious and they're kind of scared they might be intactful or something. They're very cute. Also, I still cannot assimilate this faction. I don't know why. This hasn't happened before. Oh well, I'm gonna give it development grants because of reasons. And yeah, grants. That must be a small bag that just appeared when this version rolled out. So I'll tell about it to the devs, so hopefully you won't see it in your version. Alright, now I could make demands because of how much influence pressure I have over the Riftborns, which would allow me to ask them to give me something without me giving them anything in return, and the only way for them to refuse would be to go to war with me. But I need the extra 50 bonus from them being my allies, so let's go ahead and request an alliance, and I think they should agree, at least after a little bit of pleasing. So alright, what would you want? How about titanium? No, that's too much. I'll give you 15 because I like it so much. I know it's a huge amount of titanium, but I'm willing to give it all to you. And they don't care. How about I give you 30 and also give you some extra artifacts, like whole 15 of them. Oh wow, yeah, they love it now. How about I don't give you the titanium then? Will that be good enough for you? Yes, they just care about the artifacts. Sure! Go ahead and lick my shoes now, you little cute bastards. So, now that we will be in an alliance... Yes, alright, now they feel safe, we have formed an alliance, we are called Cabal of the Black Nebula. That sounds mildly menacing, but that's good I suppose. They are loyal to me, which is nice. Now, since we have signed an alliance, we're no longer at peace with the Vodiani, and I do want to be at peace with the Vodiani. Also, we have discussed Cravers somehow. Unfortunate, because I cannot be at peace with them. But oh well.
It's polite to say what we are thinking. So, we will stop at hello.
Hello to you too. I'm gonna make you love me whether you like it or not. It sounds a little bit wrong, but don't worry, you will like it in the end. What do you have? You have titanium, hyperium, you have every resource possible, including quadrinics, which is kind of scary. You also have voidstone and lost cities, so that's gonna be hard. You have, it looks like you have the exact same things I do, except for Jade Onyx. So they might value that quite a bit. So let's give them 12 Jade Onyx and see if they like it. They love Jade Onyx, apparently. And I'm not sure... Okay, now they don't anymore. They want 15 of it. I guess they want it for some specific reason. Maybe to boost their population somewhere. Alright, 15 is not enough? Sure, I'll give you 17. How does that sound? Does that sound enticing to you? Are you excited to have 17 Jade Onyx? They're not. Alright, I'll give you 25. No, my mercy. And I'll drink some tea as you think about it. Of course, I had to spill my tea on myself, because otherwise I would be too normal not to spill my tea on myself. But that's okay, I suppose. They're gonna be my buddies, our buddies rather. Yeah, they have accepted my proposal. I will not invite them to the alliance just yet, I'll do that next time. For now, I just wanted them to be at peace with me, so that they are also more enticed to be allied with me next time I try to talk to them. And also, additionally, I also want them to give me the extra Fitzy bonus from being at peace with me. So anyway, now that the enemy fleet is here, they're preventing me from invading the system, but that's fine because this also allows us to attack them head on. So, first things first, battle tactics. Let's check out what we have, because we actually haven't done this ever since we started this fight. Now, we can go for diplomatic immunity. The problem is I'm not using unarmed ships. Now, I was talking about it, and I'm tempted to use unarmed light ships. And then I could also move them into the top flank to suck at the enemy damage while being able to soak up all of this damage. The problem is, light ships are still not necessarily ideal for this job, although in my current situation they could, especially if I were to improve light ships. So I might consider that. I'll keep this in for now. I don't want to revive in a build. Tattoo is, again, not something I want because I'm using missiles. Go when I get lucky. So let's see, I want something that gives me the ability to fire the enemy from far away. Barrage fire is probably going to be my go-to tactic. It's exactly the same as Part of Shields, except more useful because it lets you deal more damage, thus preventing the enemy from dealing damage. Next, what we have is hard target. I'm not sure I will need the defense bonus. How about the fewer? No, I don't want that either, because I'm probably not gonna lose ships. So how about possible analysis, which is going to give me more experience if I feel like I do not risk anything when it comes to winning or losing a fight. That's not bad. And I think it is going to be okay. I kinda might want to still go for the tattoo option. No, I don't think I would ever use that. Then again, in case the enemy does change things around, maybe I would go for that. And Pound of the Shields I wouldn't use anyway since I have access to Barrage Fire. So yeah, let's go ahead and confirm the changes as they are right now. And we should be able to witness an epic, hopefully, fight. So let's have a quick look at that. They have 2 frigates and a bunch of brigs, and they're still using the bzz beams, which is going to make this basically a slaughter. Unfortunately, because I'm using a different card now. Wait, it's still have Part of the Shields? How so? I changed that, didn't I? I'm almost certain I did. Oh well, let's go for Barrage Fire, and things are exactly the same. Thankfully, the game didn't want to switch them too badly, so that's good, and we are good to go. Let's go ahead and start the fight. Their fleet is minuscule. It's so very small, it's gonna be... They run away! Come on! I was hoping for a challenge. Not really a challenge. This fleet wouldn't be challenging in the first place, but I was coming to look at a cool fight, and you didn't get to do that. As my personal punishment to you, I'll... Oh wow, they're not actually losing their staff as quickly as I was hoping they would. Well, I'll wait one more turn before I actually invade them. Anyway, Bite is preparing another fleet, which is very nice, if you ask me. So, I'm gonna give you... I'm gonna make you just to make sure I'm not making any mistakes in regards to command points, but it doesn't look like I am. So let's go ahead and make another carrier, which is gonna be fun. Flesh is just being fleshy, as I like it. It does have access to body language instituted now, so let's go ahead and get that. And the same thing is gonna be installed in all of my other systems that have the room to make body language instituted. Although this place, for example, it needs a specialization first. And might as well give me extra Jade Onyx, I suppose. Why not? It's not like I will use the system for anything else ever. And then give me some more influence, because I need it, like, totally. It's not a useless thing to have, not a useless resource. No, obviously it's not. Anyway, this place is very slow to make anything, but then again, ice cream is not necessarily the most constructive thing in the universe. It's also not very stable, is it? It's delicious though. I wanna eat some ice cream. I really do. Anyway, let's see, you just say make a body language institute as well. I believe with that we just need to queue up some more research. So, what do I want? I don't care about influence. I don't necessarily care about either of those things either. I mean, antimatter lock, and I'll be entirely honest, I don't fully understand how it works. I have some theories, but I rarely use that, and I don't have a lot of... Actually, I do have a lot of antimatter. I never even noticed how that happened, but I guess I do have a lot of it. Well, that's good to know. However, there are other things I probably want more. I don't care about the ability to be culturally flexible, because I'm the Unfallen. I'm not gonna get a lot of influence anyway. That's the first problem. And the second problem is that I just flat out hate this research because of the very idea and how poorly implemented it is. In my personal opinion, I mean, everybody is entitled to their own opinion, of course, but I just hate it. It basically is a very artificial way to force human players to go to war and to abuse against AIs because they cannot really defend against it, because they're too dumb to do that. I really dislike the system. I wish it will... I really hope it will be modified to be more interesting in the future, and also be a way to spend your influence, because what am I gonna spend my influence on now? There's nothing, is there? Anyway, that's something I've voiced my concern over to the developers about 1 billion times by now, so they definitely know about it. Anyway, now we can go for ultra tough materials, which is something I wanted to do for a very long time now, so let's go ahead and research them. Of course, I can also retrofit my ships, but by the time I get access to the retrofits, I will have already won the war, so it's not really a priority for me. I almost failed to say that. Anyway, let's go ahead and end the turn for the time being. I believe we're doing fine. The Lumeris are running away from Spaka in cowardice and fear, and they're gonna continue doing so. As some more Lumeris, I believe, are also on their way to Spaka, just to make things a little bit confusing for them, I suppose. But that's alright, I'm gonna go ahead and... well, wait a second, did I do that? Oh no, my participation was too low. Yeah, as I expected, alright, that's good. I mean, that's not necessarily good. Rewards wouldn't be bad, but I didn't expect to get any rewards in the first place. Can I stick another assimilate you? How's that? I don't know. Anyway, let's see. Oh wow! Looks like Kravers are actually attacking my dear allies, the Riftborn. What kind of weapons are Riftborn using? They're using various weapons and defenses, so at least they are varying things up a little bit. And the Kravers are using the same thing that the Lumeris are using, which is kind of amusing, isn't it? I guess me and Riftborn really are alike in terms of how we fight and in terms of our enemies as well. Also, that's a big fleet. Will you be courageous enough to actually stand up to me? Courageous, rather. I don't think that would be. Also, I don't want to go for part of the shields. I want to go for barrage fire. Thank you very much. Also, is that... Yep, that's still the right thing. Will you run away? They probably will. They did. For crying out, if you fly into the system, why do you then run away? That's really... That doesn't really make a lot of sense. And now I cannot invade Spark, but I suppose that's alright because I'm still sieging it, so that's alright. Anyway, I'll end this video right here. Ladies and gentlemen, it was PANCZASU, also known as the Mighty Mix Bomber. I'm trying to show you some combat, but I've been failing to do that so far because the Lumeris are just cowards. All they're good at is stabbing people in the back because they're Mafia. That's what Mafia does. It's not exactly great at frontline assaults. Anyway, hopefully this will be fixed in the next video. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you online.